This is like the worst nightmare you can imagine projected onto God. Like, imagine the worst thing possible, and then you project it onto God. This picture of God presupposed in Edwards' sermon is, so far as I can determine, about as opposite of what we find revealed on the cross as anyone could ever imagine. On the cross, God, out of love for all human beings, He died not just for our sins, but for the sins of the whole world. It says in 1 John chapter 2. This God out of love dies, gives His life for all human beings. Where here, God looks upon you as more despicable than a loathsome insect, 10,000 times more despicable than a loathsome insect. And whereas on Calvary, God, as a human being, prays with His last breath for the forgiveness of everybody, those who are torturing Him. He prays for the forgiveness of those who are torturing Him. This God, the God presupposed in Edwards' sermon, he's the one who mercilessly afflicts torture on everybody. It's about as opposite a view of God as I can imagine. And this nightmarish picture of God has been used to manipulate people throughout history. See, you can fear this God for sure, if you believe this, but I don't think you can possibly love this God, especially when you consider that Jonathan Edwards, as so many who hold this view of hell and this view of God, he believed that God predestines everything that everybody does, and therefore He predestines who's going to go to heaven and hell. So here, God predestined you to be this loathsome insect, and now He's going to damn you and torture you forever and ever in hell because you're exactly the way He predestined you to be. How can you love a God like that? Consider that your precious daughter or granddaughter, your most loved one, might be one of those whom God has damned to eternal hell. And you're supposed to fall down and adore and love this God, who's all the more glorious for having predestined your child, your husband, your wife, whatever, to go to eternal hell. You can fear that God because you don't want to yourself be thrown into hell. But I don't think if you have any health in you, you can possibly genuinely love that God. You will say you love that God, because if you don't, then you're one of the ones who are destined for hell. But you can't genuinely believe it in the core of your being, I don't think.